Hello and welcome to True Guidance Tarot. I'm Adriana Teodoro-Dier. I'm a spiritual medium and intuitive reader and your guide to a clearer perspective. I've got a message for Sagittarius today. I have asked my guides to bring a message through the cards that's going to be helpful, meaningful, and beneficial for you this week as you navigate your spiritual journey. Guys, it's a bit out there. This message is really like way out in the cosmos somewhere. So I hope you'll enjoy this journey with me. Let's go ahead and get started. We've got the Chariot for the energy that the universe sends you this week. Now, this Chariot energy is a forward sweep. We are going forward somewhere. Despite any evidence to the contrary, we are moving forward. And it's almost like something bigger than you, bigger than me, bigger than the universe is pushing. Well, maybe it is the universe. It's pushing us forward. And so this is also the idea of ascent. This is not just forward movement for fun. This is idea like we're going to a higher place. We're going to a better place. We've got all this divine light down back here. And I feel like in this card, she's kind of like a Valkyrie. And Valkyries, they live up in Valhalla. They bring people back up to heaven. And so I feel like this is really what's happening, this energy. Now we've got the Queen of Swords being swept along, being carried by this energy. And Queen of Swords, I also get the idea of ascent with her because we've got this moving up. So we're talking about ideas that are related to channeling perspectives and ways of thinking from the divine source. A different kind of divination, but this is a divination that has to do more with universal truths, cold, hard truths at the core of the universe. Not so much about the relationships between people. This is kind of like big global shifts. So that's where you are right now, is that you're looking to perceive them, you're looking to kind of figure them out, you're waiting to get that information. You may also be feeling like whatever you're believing or whatever you're thinking is a lonely place. She's all by herself up in this place with her perspective, and she's got her eyes closed, which means she's seeing within, she's trusting that inner guidance, that inner wisdom to tell her where to go, but it's a lonely place. Like no one else may understand it, no one else may get it. In fact, the movement of this chariot may have pushed you so far, it's kind of like no one else is there with you. And that's okay. She's self-contained, she's all right, she's got her feet on the ground, she's not upset about this. In fact, she's not fazed one way or another. She just is the way she is. She knows what she knows, she thinks what she thinks, she believes what she thinks, and she just is. There's no like needing to be accepted or needing to see what everyone else is saying, or she's just like, she's okay in her own mind. Now here's where it gets weird, guys. So we've got the Fool going to the Four of Swords, going to Cernunnos, or Cernunnos. I'm not exactly sure how to say this. So let's do it because I think we're narrating here. So we start off with the Fool, that we're going on this journey. We're not quite sure where we're going. So, this is you maybe seeking this truth, that you're looking for this new picture or this new aspect of what the truth could be. And this is kind of a joyful, happy-go-lucky kind of energy that you're just like eagerly seeking, like what could be out there. And you're about to fall off the cliff. Now, it's funny because you fall off the cliff and who do you meet at the bottom but the Four of Swords? The Four of Swords is trying to figure out everything in his mind. This is often a card associated with meditation because it's about visualizing what you want to see on earth. But the point is that it's using the rational mind. Whereas the Fool was actually using his heart. He was just trusting where he was being led, trusting the intuition. It's funny because I read a book a long time ago that talked about the wise fool. Like to say, I know nothing is actually not a statement of humility because that's the only way you can learn something is to know nothing, right? You can't go to a new place if you know everything already. And that's a little bit of the spirit that's going on here. This Fool supposedly doesn't know anything. This Four of Swords is trying to figure it out with his mind. So you're trying to make sense with the logical mind in the best way that you can. I mean, that's why we have this thing on the top of our head, right? To try to figure out what's going on with the world. But the problem is it puts him at a standstill. You see, there's no energy. It's stagnant. The air is not moving. So this journey ends here with when the rational mind takes over and starts to try to put things into some kind of logical sense or order. This Fool's journey is going to stop right there. Now here's where we get this card, and oh, I just got chills from him coming out. There's a couple things. This card is trying to tell you that what you're trying to figure out defies logical conventions. It doesn't go with the logic that we think we have in our brain. This is an untamable, unfettered, almost indescribable kind of wild, raw energy in this card. And he's kind of saying, you know, don't try to go here with the mind. Stay out of my space. Don't try to figure me out with your mind, because you're never going to know me. You're going to know me because you sense me, because you know that I'm a part of you. But do not try to analyze me and take me apart. You notice he's got antlers, and they're huge antlers, right? Those are enormous antlers. Antlers have to do with psychic perception. And if you look, this man here is also wearing antlers, but they're tiny. They're micro antlers compared to this guy's antlers, right? Because he is the essence of that wild knowing that you only find in like the darkest, deepest, not only forests, but like corners of the psyche. This is a deep survival instinct, and this is a deep, just raw beingness that perpetuates every kind of life, every kind of fertility. So it's interesting that he's shown with these two figures of the lovers who are enjoying a nice nap after what was hopefully a good time together, because they're the physical embodiment of this rawer, bigger, untrammeled force. So let's try to pull this back in and tell you what's happening. The Fool is going on a journey to try to meet this force. And what these three cards together are telling us is that whatever is behind the intuitive workings of this journey, whatever is behind the knowledge that she is seeking, it can't be known by your normal rational mind. It's known in a sensing. It's known in a bigger place. It's known in a sense that there's something much bigger that has a hold of this whole situation that's driving it, our chariot. It's driving it to where it has to go. And we have to trust that there's a bigger knowing and sensing, these antlers on his head, that he is tapped into something. Now, the good news, you're kind of like, okay, this is scary. You're telling me that I can't trust my mind and that we're being driven by some kind of weird ass guy with antlers coming out of his head. What this is saying is that this particular figure is an aspect of nature. But nature wants to increase, right? It wants fertility. It wants to keep going. It wants abundance. It wants to thrive. It doesn't want us to be destroyed and cut apart. That's part of the reason why there's such a strong resistance to this analysis of the mind, because that is what separates. Analysis cuts things into pieces, right? And this is saying, if you use that aspect of yourself, you will never know me. You will never know this rich sensing, this rich call to fertility, call to expansion, call to becoming something bigger than what we are. I mean, we're talking about kind of universal big growth happening here. So this is an interesting week. You're not supposed to get what's going on. You're not supposed to be able to explain it or rationalize it out. What you're supposed to be able to do is feel it. Just sense it. If you can sense it and you don't put it into words, that's all right. Then you know that you're connected to this energy correctly. Now, the advice card is super interesting. We've got the King of Air, King of Swords, Cardinal Air, which is the Libra energy. So remember, we had the Queen here. Here we've got the King. Now, this being our advice says There is a rational and natural order behind everything that's happening. Even though we don't get it, even though this is a strange part of our journey, we are assured that it's actually governed by natural law. You see, he's got the balance, he's got law rolled up in his hand, he's got the sword. So this is trust. This is helping us trust that there is something going on that makes sense behind the scenes. You know, that there is a natural sequence and a natural order to what is happening, but we are not supposed to know it in our mind right now. We're supposed to cultivate a bigger sensing, because that is going to form the basis of a new kind of intelligence. So our intelligence is actually being expanded into a different dimension. So okay, guys, that was super weird for me. I'm an earth sign, so going into those places is very strange, but I hope this gives you kind of an idea of what to do with this energy that you're feeling and kind of working with this week. So I wish you an awesome week. I look forward to seeing you next time on True Guidance Tarot. I also wanted to let you know that I do have a website, True Guidance Tarot, where I offer different sorts of things, tarot classes, one-on-one readings. If that's interesting to you, please check it out, and see you next time.